Welcome to The Explainer. I am so incredibly thrilled to have you here today because we're going to decode something absolutely fascinating and, honestly, really important. We're going to look at the hidden health conditions that millions of people mistakenly just write off as being normal. I mean, what if I told you that you could be living with a health condition right now and have absolutely no idea? Well, today, we're going to explain exactly how that happens, decoding 10 very common yet remarkably silent health conditions. Are you just getting older? It's a question we probably all ask ourselves when we feel that daily fatigue, a bit of extra stress, or just a general lack of energy. Do you just brush it off? It is so incredibly common to ignore small symptoms every single day, thinking, well, I'm just tired, I'm stressed, or I guess I'm just getting older. We basically assume it's just the cost of a busy life. Okay, let's dive into this. What if it isn't just a busy life? What if those normal, everyday problems are actually alarms going off for an underlying condition? That exact shift in perspective is what we're focusing on in this explainer. We're going to explore how our bodies communicate with us and how we can actually learn to read the subtle signs we usually just ignore. To make this easy to digest, we've organized our explanation into a quick roadmap. First, the truly silent threats. Second, the energy drainers. Third, the hidden system disruptors. And finally, testing over self-diagnosis. All right, group number one, the truly silent threats. These are conditions with zero early symptoms. These conditions quietly damage your engine, your heart, your brain, your kidneys, and your liver, without ever triggering the check engine light. Take high blood pressure, for instance. It is literally known as the silent killer. Why? Because you might feel completely 100% normal while it quietly damages your cardiovascular system in the background. High cholesterol operates in the exact same way. It usually has absolutely zero early warning signs, and many people only discover they even have high cholesterol after a severe event, like a heart attack or a stroke. Another condition in this totally silent category is prediabetes, meaning your blood sugar is elevated, but it hasn't quite crossed that threshold into full-blown diabetes just yet. It often develops completely under the radar without any noticeable symptoms at all. But the really empowering takeaway to remember here is that if you catch it, healthy eating and regular exercise can very often reverse it. Now, while these conditions are mostly silent, they can occasionally leak some very specific, subtle warning signs as they progress. For high blood pressure, it might be frequent headaches, blurred vision, shortness of breath, or in severe cases, nosebleeds. For prediabetes, the alarms might be increased thirst, frequent urination, constant hunger, or dark patches of skin around the neck or armpits. And for another silent threat, fatty liver disease, as it progresses, you might feel unexplained weakness or just a mild pain right on the right side of your abdomen. Moving right along to category 2, the energy drainers. This covers nutritional and hydration deficits. Unlike the silent threats that damage organs quietly, these conditions mechanically drain your vitality by actively depriving your body of essential elements like vitamins, minerals, and water. The crucial point to explain here is how these deficiencies overlap. The universal villain? Fatigue. Just notice how often tiredness shows up. If you spend most of your day indoors, you might have a vitamin D deficiency, which brings constant tiredness, bone pain, muscle weakness, and even feeling depressed or getting sick frequently. On the other hand, iron deficiency, which is actually one of the most common nutritional problems worldwide, also brings low energy and shortness of breath, but it pairs it with pale skin, dizziness, hair loss, and cold hands and feet. The symptoms completely blend together, all of them draining your energy. And then there's this frankly surprising fact. Simply failing to drink enough water can mechanically cause a whole cascade of issues. We've all been there, right? Reaching for the third cup of coffee when we feel sluggish. But early signs of dehydration include headaches, dry mouth, dark urine, dizziness, poor concentration, and, you guessed it, fatigue. Something as simple as lacking hydration can easily mimic much more severe clinical conditions. Next up, our third group, the hidden system disruptors, conditions altering your baseline bodily functions. Instead of just draining your energy or quietly damaging organs, these conditions actively disrupt your baseline functions, things like your breathing, your hormone regulation, and your mental state. A perfect example of a system disruptor is sleep apnea. Many people have this without ever even realizing it. It mechanically causes your breathing to stop briefly while you're sleeping. Because this nighttime breathing disruption happens while you're unconscious, the signs you actually notice during the day are loud snoring, waking up tired, morning headaches, daytime sleepiness, and difficulty concentrating. And if left untreated, this daily disruption can actively increase your risk of heart disease.
Now, the thyroid controls a lot of body functions, and this brilliantly illustrates just how powerful our internal systems really are. When it's underactive, it dictates one very specific set of physical symptoms: weight gain, feeling cold, dry skin, fatigue, and depression. But if it swings to the exact opposite extreme and becomes overactive, the symptoms completely flip. You get weight loss, a fast heartbeat, anxiety, sweating, and trembling hands. Your hormones are essentially pulling the levers behind the scenes of how you feel every single day.
Our final disruptor affects both the mental and physical state, anxiety disorder. And we really need to clarify here that anxiety is far more than just occasional stress. Just like we talked about at the very beginning, a lot of people mistake anxiety for simply having a really busy life. But if you're dealing with constant worrying, a racing heartbeat, difficulty sleeping, restlessness, and trouble concentrating, that is a true system disruption. And getting professional support makes a massive difference here. Finally, part 4, testing over self-diagnosis. Let's get into some actionable takeaways. Because that overlapping symptom of fatigue appears in almost every single one of these conditions we've covered, trying to diagnose yourself is incredibly tricky and honestly potentially dangerous. So here is a clear, actionable roadmap for you. Step 1, notice if you have persistent or worsening symptoms. Do not ignore them. Step 2, avoid jumping to conclusions or trying to diagnose yourself based on a late-night web search. Step 3, consult a qualified healthcare professional. For conditions like high cholesterol, high blood pressure, thyroid issues, or iron and vitamin D deficiencies, a simple regular blood test or physical check is absolutely the only reliable way to detect them early. And early detection is exactly what leads to better treatment and much healthier outcomes. So I want to leave you with this final thought today. What is your body silently asking you to check? Having one or more of the symptoms we've explained today doesn't automatically mean you have a medical condition, but it is your body trying to communicate with you. Take proactive control of your health. Listen to those silent symptoms, seek out the proper testing, and stay informed. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.